Hi guys, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I want to share this article with you because for me, I think this actually unlocks a whole new world of potential for XRP. So, the headline says, XRP Ledger records over 1 million AI agent transactions as autonomous payments grow. Yeah, so this is the whole thing for me, which this is something that was never foreseen, right? Like when blockchain technology was, being built, I don't think like AI was really something that was at the forefront of people's minds, and especially AI agent transactions. Like that's just not something that was really, really considered. And so the reason why I think this is such a big deal is because when we was talking about, for example, activity on the ledger, we was just talking about general human activity, right? But when you're now adding in AI agents doing transactions, well, how many times can you like multiply the type of activity that could be going on the ledger now? So these successful ledgers, which I think XRP will be one of them, they might have, infinitely more transactions happening than what we'd originally been thinking. So even when you think about, let's say, the burn rate theory, XRP, obviously how it's being burnt, I'm not saying it's just going to dramatically rise up the price, but the burn rate could be, accelerated a lot more. Because if you've got like these AI agents doing, let's just say, thousands, if not millions of transactions a day, well, think about that type of activity. Like you're not going to be able to get that type of activity just by, human interaction alone, unless you get like a really successful use case. But we're not at that point yet, right? So that's yet to be seen. But with these AI agents, well, yeah, absolutely. And even just for like trading, you could have like these AI agents, because I've seen people like, for example, Lewis Jackson, who's now using like AI agents as like trading bots for him. So they just buy and sell doing trades, over blockchain technology. So this is something where if you've got a lot of people who want to invest to when like XRP becomes, widely adopted like all cryptocurrency. So for example, like the Clarity app passes and give it a couple of years and, XRP and other cryptos are like really mainstream. Like don't get me wrong, it is getting like the limelight and stuff now, but we're not fully at that stage yet where it's being completely embraced, right? There's still, when you look at the percentage of the world that own or know about crypto, I think it's something stupid like 3% or something like that. So it's still like very much in its infancy, even though it feels like, we've been around forever and we're seeing like the adoption grow. It's still not at that point yet, right? So when we get to like the mass adoption phase, and when it becomes a thing where it's a part of people's just everyday life, like think about it like the internet, right? When the internet first started out, it was something that people would use as and when. Like, for example, when you wanted to use the internet back in the day, this is what all the older people will know, you had what was called dial-up. So you actually had to connect to the internet and then disconnect from the internet when you were finished. And you had to have a landline. Now the internet's running 24/7 and to use the internet, it's just a part of your everyday life, right? Like the majority of the things that you want is just online now. Like your phone has got the internet. So, you just want to search something quickly. You want to know some information, you go to Google, or you want to learn something, you need to know how to do something quick, like fix something on your car or something, you go on YouTube. People want to pay for something with their card. They use a card terminal to shop. Like that's all going through the internet. So now it's a part of our everyday life, right? Like it's actually a problem that if we don't have the internet. And I think eventually crypto will get like that too. So when I'm talking about, the mass adoption stage, I'm talking to that degree. I'm talking like when, crypto is embedded in the general, day-to-day lives of the people. And so like when you think about the card terminal, for example, think about that, but on blockchain rails. So instead of it taking like 3 to 4 days for that payment to leave someone's account, that's going out straight away, right? There's no kind of thing now where you have pending transactions, earmarked transactions. No, the payment will be done and settled within seconds. That's it. Like that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So when this stuff is all like, embedded within the general, the general infrastructure of your day-to-day life, that's when I think AI agents and stuff will be, heavily utilized, to be honest with you. So I think this can bring, absolutely ridiculously more volume to the ledger. So just going to go through some parts of this article and then I'll finish up. So AI agents are already transacting on the XRPL. According to Fang, the milestone follows the launch of T54's XRPL AI Hub, which has indexed more than 1 million AI agent transactions on the XRPL mainnet. He said this does not mean that the quote agentic economy unquote is fully mature. However, it shows that autonomous payment workflows are already operating in production. Yeah, so a quick pause there. As you just said, it doesn't mean that it's fully mature. So you're seeing 1 million transactions at the moment. That's just getting started. And that's the same for blockchain technology. Like, yes, we have started to see more and more adoption, but we're not at mass adoption yet. So, like, if again, like, just quickly going back to the evolution of the internet went to something that you'd go on here and there, you know, use it here and there, to it being constantly on, to now it being basically embedded within your day-to-day life, as I say, something that we depend on now. And then you've got like the next evolution now, which is like blockchain and AI. So look how much is advanced over time. So just think of where crypto can get with AI now within the blockchain technology sector, right? Like that could be absolutely massive. And we've still got use cases that could be combined with AI and crypto. We're still yet to see that kind of stuff that could come from it. So yeah, the opportunities are endless here. All right, carrying on. In these workflows, AI agents can request paid services, receive pricing, settle payments in XRP or Ripple USD, which is RLUSD, and continue their assigned tasks. Fang said this demonstrates that XRPL has the speed, low fees, and reliability needed for machine-to-machine commerce. Focus shifts to real-world adoption. While celebrating the 1 million transaction milestone, Fang said the long-term goal is wider adoption, not just higher transaction counts. He said success will depend on more developers offering services that AI agents can purchase. That would create recurring payment activity settled in XRP and RLUSD. Fang also said trust infrastructure will become increasingly important. Autonomous agents will need predefined budgets, permissions, and accountability mechanisms to operate independently at scale. Yeah, as I say, it's not just about numbers, right? Because obviously it's great to hit these milestones, but what we really need now is people adopting this, right? And trying to create like use cases and things like that to get people to use it more. Now, as I said, I think just in general, you'll have people using this because I think they'll use them to do trading. I think they'll use AI autonomous agents to do trading. Like I think in the future, obviously nowadays at the moment, you have human traders. I think a lot of people will rely on trader bots. I think that's just going to be a natural progression. So for people who, you know, like don't feel that they're that good at trading, they'll just be able to use these AI agents. So I'll give you a quick example. Lewis Jackson, he's someone who was a big XRP influencer. He's kind of moved on from XRP now, to be honest with you. Most of his content now is about AI and how you can like leverage AI, like Claude stuff. And one of the videos he did was basically someone had put out like a script where you could follow this trader's pattern of how they trade and whatnot. And he's basically done it himself. He's used this script to follow a trader's pattern, and then these AI agents basically just copy that person's trades. And so I think there'll be people like that, right? So there could be like big traders out there and they say, look, I want to follow his pattern, because obviously it's going to depend on what like your risk appetite is. So there might be some traders who take much riskier bets. So you might think, well, yeah, I'm willing to take that kind of risk. But you might be like, well, that trader, you know, their hit rate isn't 100% success, right? They have some misses. So do I want to take the risk of following this person's exact trades when it could go wrong? So you might say, okay, no, give me this one because they're a bit more reserved, but they have a higher success rate. So they're not making as much money, but they're more successful, so I'm a bit more confident with that, and it's not risking as much money as well. So it's going to come down to like those kind of factors. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people who will just copy other people's trades. Like on eToro, that's a thing that they've done now, where you know you could look at a trader's portfolio and just copy their trades, and it will just copy exactly what they do. Like that's just a common thing now. So for people who are not experienced but they want to invest money, rather than them having to learn how to trade and that kind of thing, they can just rely on this kind of stuff. So having an AI agent being able to do this autonomously, yes, that's going to be a huge advantage. And so when you think about all that, the AI agent could be doing like, you know, thousands of millions of trades a day, literally, for different people, right? For numerous different people. So the kind of volume that could bring to the XRP ledger, I think is absolutely insane, because this wasn't accounted for. Like when we talk about general volume on the ledger, we was just talking about like human to human interaction. Like that was what was basically, thinking about. We wasn't thinking about like AI doing all these transactions automatically. That's not something that we was accounting for. So this opens up the door for way bigger adoption. So I thought I'd share this with you because this is something that could be huge for XRP. Like I really think this could make XRP way more valuable over time. And if they get successful use cases as well with AI too, yeah, could be absolutely massive. So definitely one to look out for. I'll keep an eye on this, and if I get anything more worth sharing, I'll be sure to let you know. Alright, I'll leave it there. If you did like this video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe so you can be updated for future XRP content. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted on when I do drop a new video. Thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you all on the next one.